Good morning, students. Now today we are going to see the software design for low power. So far we have seen the low power design for only hardware architecture, but this topic is related to the software design for low power. So you have to design your software in such a way that it should consume low power. So what are all the parameters associated with the software design for low power? That only we are going to see under this topic. Okay, so our aim is to design the software in such a way that it has to consume only lesser power. So in systems based on digital process, what will happen, it is that software, it directs much of the activity of the hardware. Consequently, the manner in which the software uses the hardware can have a substantial impact on the power dissipation of a system. Some software design techniques are already known to reduce certain components of power dissipation. It is often advantageous to optimize software to minimize the memory access. There are so many software optimization techniques are available. First one is algorithm optimization. Second one is minimizing memory access. Third one is optimal selection and frequencies, sequencing of machine instruction and power management. So we have to optimize the software power so that it will consume low power. So the optimization, four optimization techniques are available. Algorithm optimization, minimizing memory access, then optimal selection and sequencing of machine instructions and power management. So this is the introduction about the software design for low power. Okay, so you have to design the software in such a way that it should consume low power. So now, in order to design the software, in order to go for low power designing of software, now first we should know what are all the sources of software power dissipation. So the sources of software power dissipation is, first point is memory system. So then next one is system buses. Then third one is data path units. Then fourth one is minimizing memory access. So because of all these parameters, what will happen? These parameters will contribute much of the power dissipation. First, we will see what is memory system. There are several contributors to CPU power dissipation that can be influenced significantly by software. The memory system takes a substantial fraction of the power budget for portable computers, and it can be the dominant source of power dissipation. Okay, so the memory system, it takes a major fraction of the power budget. Then next one is system buses. System buses means address, instruction and data bus. It acts as a high capacitance component. So generally in the buses is made up of copper wires. So copper wire means if two metals run parallel with each other, there exhibits a capacitance. So because of the high capacitance component, what will happen? Switching activity is largely determined by the software. The next one is data path units. Data paths in integer, arithmetic logic units and floating point units are demanding of power, especially if all the operational units are activated at all the times. Then fourth point is, the third point is data path units. So the data point units are there, it will demand much power. Then fourth one is minimizing memory access. You have to minimize the memory access. You should not keep on accessing the memory. Accessing the memory means doing read and write operation. Unnecessarily, you should not retrieve the data. Unnecessarily, you should not write the data. So the memory accesses are expensive for several reasons. First one is reading or writing a memory location involves switching on highly capacitive data and address lines going to the memory, row and column decode logic, and word and data lines within the memory that have a high fan out. Memory access patterns of a program can greatly affect the cache performance of the system. Unfavorable access patterns will lead to cache misses and a lot of costly memory access. So you have to minimize the memory access as much as possible. So these are the sources of software power dissipation. Okay. Then, so now you know the what are all the sources of software power dissipation. The next topic is estimation. You have to estimate the software power. The next topic is software power estimation. So how will you estimate the software power? So the software power estimation, there are that is how will you estimate the software power is first you have to write a piece of code, and if you run the code, then you can able to know this much power this software is consuming. How will you know the software power consumption means first you have to write a piece of code, and then you run the code, then after that you can calculate the power. So in this way only you can able to calculate the power estimation of the software. So here it is classified into four different categories. One is gate level power estimation, then next one is architectural power estimation, third one is bus switching activity, then fourth one is instruction level power analysis. What is meant by gate level power estimation? So gate level power estimation means it is important in evaluating the power dissipation behavior of a processor design. Here, a detailed gate level description, including layout parasitic, is available for the target processor. So if you run this gate level, then you will have the knowledge of all the parasitic capacitance, all those things. So based on parasitic's value, you can able to estimate the power. Then next one is architectural power estimation. Architectural power estimations are the major components of a processor. Here, the point is in architectural power estimation, you can determine which major components of the processor will be active during each execution cycle of a program. So power estimates for each component are then taken from the lookup table and added into the power estimate for the program. Then third one is bus switching activity. Bus switching activity is nothing but it is another indicator of software power based on a simplified model of processor power dissipation. Bus switching activity can be estimated based on the sequence of instruction opcode and memory address. So bus switching activity also we have to monitor. So how it can be estimated means based on the instruction opcode and memory address. Then next one is instruction level power analysis. Instruction level power analysis means suppose if two instructions execute the same output means which instruction you have to choose means whichever the instruction which is consuming low power, that instruction you can choose for similar operation. So that is called as ILPA. So this analysis requires that power cost associated with individual instructions and certain instruction sequences be characterized empirically for the target processor. The first requirement for ILPA is to characterize the average power dissipation associated with each instruction or instruction sequence of interest. So these are the software power estimation. First we have see the introduction of software power. Then next one is so what are the sources of software power dissipation. Then next one is how will you estimate the software power. So software power will be estimated under four categories: gate level power estimation, architectural level power estimation, bus switching activity, then instruction level power analysis. Gate level power estimation means if you estimate this estimation gives the details about the parasitics values. Then architectural power estimation means this architectural power estimation is nothing but in a in a processor which components of the processor are active during the execution of that instruction. That details will give this architectural power estimation. Then next one is bus switching activity. Bus switching activity is dependent on the instruction how you are writing. It depends upon the instruction opcode. Then instruction level power analysis means you have to analyze the instruction. Whichever the instructions consumes lesser power, you can use that instruction so that it will give lesser power consumption. So these are the software power estimation. Then now you know the sources of software power. Then now you know how to estimate the software power. The next topic is software power optimization. How will you optimize the software power? How will you optimize the software power? So optimization of software power means So here, this is also similar to there is this is this software power optimization for minimum power or energy tend to fall into the two categories. One is selection of the least expensive instruction or instruction sequences. Then minimizing the frequency or cost of memory access. So you have to minimize the memory access and you have to select the least expensive instructions. So a prerequisite to optimizing a program for low power must always be to design an algorithm that maps well into the available hardware. Given such an algorithm, the next requirement is to write the code that maximizes performance, exploiting the performance features and parallel processing capacity of the hardware as much as possible. Now, in this, there are four techniques are available to optimize the software power. First one is algorithm transformations to match computational resources. One impact of algorithm design is the memory requirement. Another impact is on the efficient use of computational resources. So in parallel processor application, a typical problem is to structure software in a way that maximizes the available parallel computing resources can be used to speed up program execution. In low power DSP synthesis, a typical problem is to design an algorithm to allow a circuit implementation that minimizes power dissipation for a given throughput and area constraints. Low power DSP design will exploit parallelism in an algorithm, but the objective is to shorten the critical path so that the supply voltage can be lowered while maintaining overall performance. Then there is another algorithm transformation operation are available. Then that is reduction operation. Reduction operation are also an example of common class of operation that lead themselves to a trade-off between resource usage and execution time. Okay. So algorithm transformation means you can transfer the algorithm in such a way that it will utilize only lesser computational resources so that you can able to reduce the software power. The next one is minimizing memory access cost. This we have already seen. You have to access the memory as much lesser as possible. So if you access more number of memory, then power consumption also will be more. So you have to design, there is you have to concentrate in the minimizing the memory access cost. Software design techniques that have been used to improve memory system efficiency can also be helpful in reducing the power or energy dissipation of a program. This is largely due to the memory of being both a power and a performance bottleneck. Lower memory requirements also help by allowing total RAM to be smaller. Power optimization techniques related to concentrate memory on one or more of the following objectives. That is, you have to minimize the number of memory access required by an algorithm. And second point is minimize the total memory required by an algorithm. So first, third one is put memory access as close as possible to the processor. Choose the register first, cache memory next, and external RAM last. So here I repeat this once again. You have to minimize the number of memory access required by the algorithm. That is the first point in minimizing the memory access cost. You have to minimize the number of memory access and you have to minimize the total memory required by the algorithm. That means if you design an algorithm, you have to minimize the total memory. You should not use more memory. Then you have to keep the memory access as much as close possible to the processor. Okay. Then next one is instruction selection and ordering. Instruction selection and ordering means it should be possible to select a code sequence that minimizes power and energy. You have to choose the instruction in such a way that that should consume lesser power. There may be instruction which gives the same output, but you have to choose the least expensive instruction. That is the point. Then Next one is power management. Power management means considerable hardware effort can also be applied to designing processor that avoid the dissipation of power in circuitry that is idle. Whenever the circuit is idle, it should not consume power. So it is possible for power management to be entirely controlled by hardware, but typically software has the ability to at least initiate a power down mode. Then anyway, the hardware can control the software. Actually, the power management will be entirely controlled by the hardware. But in the power management, what is the role of software? Mean it is having the ability to at least initiate a power down mode. Okay, so these are the different types of software power optimization techniques. First one is algorithm transformations to match computational resources. Second one is minimizing memory access cost. Then instruction selection and ordering power management. Minimizing memory access means you have to access the memory in a lesser manner. Instruction selection means you have to choose the least expensive instruction. Power management means software is having the ability to initiate the power down mode. So that is called as power management. Okay. With this fifth unit completed. So if you have any doubt, ask me. Okay. Students, you are having any doubt? Okay.